Afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you are. So as I said, I'm trying to keep up with the scheduled uploads on the channel, and the video that I wanted to make today is essentially just covering how important cash flow is and why cash flow is important within an eBay business. So within the video, we're going to go over five sort of key points as to why cash flow is important, what to do in relation to those points if your cash flow isn't, good, or you're struggling with a high turnover, but you don't have any capital to actually invest into the business for stock, supplies, things like that. And also just give some personal examples as well as to what I've done in the past when I've been struggling with cash flow and what I've done to rectify it and make sure that we have enough positive cash flow to keep the business running and keep the profits where they should be. So the first point is, why do you need cash flow in a business for it to run effectively? Without cash flow, you can find yourself in a position where you have, for example, £1,000 worth of capital that you've invested into stock. When I'm talking about an eBay business, so you've invested that £1,000 into stock, and you're only turning over £100 to £200 per month. So in that example, it's going to take you around about sort of 5-6 months to actually even just recoup your initial investment, let alone take any money out of it for profit. So cash flow is massively, massively important because it's going to enable you to keep investing into the company or into your eBay business, whilst also perhaps taking a little bit of profit out for yourself, whether or not you then spend that on bills or spend that on whatever you spend it on, or reinvest it into your eBay business, which is what I'm doing currently. So yeah, cash flow is massively, massively important, and making sure that you're on top of your cash flow so that, like I said, you've got available funds to either take out of the business and reinvest, or take out of the business and use to pay bills and things like that. The second one is really for people that are starting up, and also people that are thinking about just beginning their journey with an eBay business. And that's, how can you fund your business to start with? So in my case, I'm a big believer in having multiple income streams, having another income stream like a full-time job so that you can actually fund your eBay business, is what I used personally and I'm still using, so that you're not relying on this to succeed straight away. eBay businesses don't tend to blow up within the sort of first 1 to 2 years. They can sometimes, dependent on how high a sell-through rate items that you're purchasing are, but in pretty much all scenarios, you're going to need another income stream to fund your eBay business, whether that's for stock, storage, packaging supplies, eBay shop subscriptions, laptop to work with, anything like that. You're going to need something, unless you have some capital saved. If you have, for example, £10,000 saved, then you've got quite a nice blanket in terms of what you've got to put into the business for stock, and what you can reinvest or take out of it for, like I said, bills, or if you wanted to reinvest the profits as well. The third one, which again I've experienced myself as well, and it coincides with cash flow, is what to do if, say for example, you're listing 5 items a day, but you're only selling 1 item a day. Pretty quickly, if you're investing, I don't know, £4 per piece into 5 items that you're listing per day, and it's costing you £20, and you're maybe selling 1 item a day, which might be an average, sale price of £20, and then minus your fees and things like that. Pretty quickly you're going to see your capital start going down, but you're investing into the store, into future growth into the store, because you're not spending it on things that aren't going to make you money. It will make you money in the long term, but with clothing, selling clothing on eBay, sometimes it can sit for longer periods of time, dependent on the sell-through rate, opposed to other items on eBay. So if you find yourself in a position where you're listing more than what you're selling, perhaps look at the items that you are listing. Are they a higher sell-through rate? Are they, is there 10,000 listed but only 500 are selling per 90 days? That's perhaps, that's going to take quite a long time to sell. So try and dial it back if you can, which is what I've done really recently. We're now listing 2 a day and averaging selling 2 a day at the moment. So we're in a positive place now where we have the option now to go back up to 3 items listed per day, and then hopefully grow the sales of 3 items per day. The fourth point, which can improve your cash flow as well, is focusing on seasonal items. So for example, I've just spent about £800 on 2 bales of heavy flannel jackets. So I got them at a good price because we're just starting Q4 now, but it is starting to get a little bit colder, and we bought some heavy flannel jackets last year and done really well off them actually. The brand of them isn't necessarily as important as having it fleece lined, having it quite heavy, so a nice heavy flannel shirt. Obviously the branding still matters, but the beginning of this year and the end of last year, we were selling fleece lined flannel jackets with brands that, you know, I'd never heard of, that were perhaps American, for 20, 25, even 30 plus. So focusing on seasonal items is a really good way to improve your cash flow and make sure that you aren't spending lots and not getting a lot back in. The fifth point, which is I think really important for cash flow, is actually separating your finances. So having a business account for your business and having a personal account for your personal expenses. Starling do a really good free business account. That's actually the one I use personally. The app's really easy to use, doesn't cost you anything to have. There are an abundance of business accounts that you can have. Some require a monthly subscription, some have parameters that you need to be within, some only do business accounts for certain professions, but Starling was the one that I use personally, so I'd really recommend to actually keep a closer eye on your cash flow, having a business account and having your personal account separate. So that's just 5 points as to why cash flow is really important within a business, how to manage them, what I've done personally as well. So I've made the mistakes and I've learned from them. So hopefully you don't make the mistakes as well. You can just learn from this video and implement it within your eBay reselling business. Any questions that you have, please drop them in the comments and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thank you.